We're back with part 4 for 10 secrets in Red Dead Redemption 2. I need to work on my introductions, and also we all saw this one coming. This is a game of immense attention to detail and environmental storytelling. You can literally ride around wearing the dumbest of hats, and there will be a story behind how you came to acquire such a stupid hat. The secrets that can be found in such a game are literally endless. Many are famous or infamous for their absurdity, disconnect from the main story, and just how much fun it makes exploring this game. But for this series I like to mix it up with some well-known secrets and some lesser-known secrets if I can, but I understand that can be quite difficult with a game that's now closing in on 4 years old and the open world secrets are amongst its most popular aspects. So with all of that said, hopefully this video won't stand to insult anybody's intelligence. That's not my intention, but please enjoy 10 Red Dead Redemption 2 secrets many players missed, part 4. Secret number 1 brings us to the Southfield Flats area of Lemoyne, to a farmstead north of Rhodes named Robard Farm. It's inside this delightful, picturesque, sleepy home where we can discover a grisly double murder.
Jesus.
A man and his wife savagely killed in a bloody frenzy. Well, we better not let the whiskey go to waste. Things get more interesting though, as if you follow the blood trail outside and around to the back of the home, you can find a third corpse. A woman who seemingly shot herself in the head. With a blade and a pistol laying by her body, it appears as if we found our killer, seemingly guilt-ridden and becoming her own third victim. On her body, players may find a letter that reveals the cause of this violence. The note is written by the husband inside the house, claiming that his wife Harriet was giving him a second chance, presumably because of his infidelity with this woman, Annette. So it seems Annette did not want the affair to end, so she murdered Claude and Harriet, and then, unable to live with it, took her own life. However, interestingly, some players have pointed out that she shot herself in the centre of the forehead. No doubt a highly likely to be lethal wound, however, perhaps not the easiest spot to shoot yourself. Is it possible there is a fourth party involved in this bloodbath that staged it, so that if anybody stumbled upon this gruesome scene, they would not look any further? But that in itself would raise the question of why. Perhaps this is all it appears to be, a delightful surprise interior redecoration. Secret number 2, Osman Grove. East of Emerald Ranch in New Hanover, we can find a spot called Osman Grove, a seemingly lovely house housing its own tragic secret. An entire dead family. Seemingly, they died of smoke inhalation due to a crack in their chimney. It appears as if it was an ordinary night and they just had dinner when disaster struck and it killed them before they even realised there was a problem. Who's going to feed the chickens now? Secret number 3 leads us to a riverbank north of Butcher's Station. It's here where we can find a barrel, inside which is a deceased woman. Clearly she rode over the edge of the waterfall inside the barrel and died. A poster found at Emerald Station will identify her as Desiree Laflamme, which I just pronounced horribly wrong. Known as the Queen of the Rapids, it appears this time she bit off more than she could chew. This is very likely a nod to Annie Edson Taylor, who was the first person to survive a trip over Niagara Falls in a barrel. Annie Edson Taylor survived her stunt unharmed with only a small gash in her head, whereas I can only assume her in-game counterpart is broken into a million pieces on the inside. Anyway, I'm sure it was a delightful experience. Let's move on. Secret number 4. If we head to a small farm a short distance northwest of Emerald Ranch, then we may be in for a rather Welsh surprise. Now, be careful. The owners of this farm don't appear to be the friendliest bunch. They may shoot at you. However, I feel like it's important for science if we shoot them first. But in the first shed to the left, on one end of their farm, we can find a man and his sheep. The man is dead, the sheep is dead, and the man's trousers are around his ankles. The sheep has a ribbon. It appears as if the man died fucking the sheep, and the sheep died getting fucked by the man. At least they died doing what they loved. Each other. On the sheep's bow, you will find a gold wedding ring, which implies that this man married his sheep. So this was some zoophilia consummation. What's weird is the residents of Guthrie Farm just appear to have left the man and his sheep's body in the shed. Now they're just going about their business as if there isn't a dead guy in the shed who died penetrating a sheep. For secret number 5, in chapter 2, Leopold Strauss sends Arthur debt collecting. One of the debtors is a man named Mr. Wrobel who doesn't speak very much English. That won't stop us from collecting the debt, however. This mission is not the last time we get to see Mr. Wrobel. In fact, if we return to Painted Sky during the epilogue mission, a quick favour for an old friend, and ignore Sadie's instruction to check out the barn and follow her into the house, she can have an interaction with Mr. Wrobel.
Ramon Cortez? We've come for you! Crap! Cortez, have you seen him?
He's in the barn.
Did I tell you? It's the barn!
Bester's been here for days. Do your worst to him.
You sure he ain't in here?
If he was in here, you'd know. Take a look.
It appears as if, after Mr. Wrobel's encounter with Arthur Morgan in 1899, he's been touching up on his English. Secret number 6. At this spot on the map, up in the mountains, we can find the remains of a mammoth. The bones have likely been an ornament here for a long time, as woolly mammoths went extinct thousands of years ago. Regardless, it's nice to have a little Easter egg to acknowledge that they were here. For secret number 7, we need to head up Mount Hagen, for it's here where we can find the frozen remains of a European settler, seemingly frozen dead here for centuries. The man has the appearance of the archetypal Spanish conquistador, but how he found himself up here, alone and unburied, is a mystery. But yes, the man does have a rather dashing looking hat, and yes, we can take it and pop it on our own heads. I'm sure that's sanitary. We will wear this hat with honour and carry the settler's pride with us wherever we go. This helmet is known as the Mauryan helmet and is dated to the 16th century apparently, so that must mean our new frozen friend here must be from a similar time period. Either way, his hat's ours now, so what does it matter? Secret number 8 brings us to Emerald Ranch that certainly needs no introduction. If we head to this place's abandoned saloon, inside we can find signs of gunshots and blood on the floor. Outside of this defunct saloon, we can find the grave of Joshua Burgess, accidentally shot in August of 1898. Yeah, accidentally shot 3 times. If you watch the main house at night, you may notice a woman looking out of the window. She never leaves, she always stands there staring out as if she's being kept there. On the porch, a man stands guard. This woman's name is Miriam Wagner. At an abandoned mail wagon southwest of Fort Wallace, we can discover that Joshua Burgess was Miriam Wagner's lover, and it's heavily implied that Miriam's father, Eugene Wagner, the owner of Emerald Ranch, is incredibly possessive of his daughter, and appears to be withholding her mail anyway. It's entirely possible then that Joshua Burgess was shot and killed by the owner of Emerald Ranch, and it appears as if it went down in this very saloon. As you explore this region, many characters will tell you that something doesn't feel right about Emerald Ranch, and now we have a rough idea as to why. Secret number 9 brings us to this spot in Roanoke Ridge, northwest of the mining town of Annisburg, for it's here where we can discover some interesting noises. ghostly whispers echoing through the trees. It appears as if this region of Roanoke Ridge is haunted. Thankfully, there is a film you can watch in-game that will explain why it's haunted.
Greetings and salutations, gentlefolk. This here's the story about a young couple from the village of Annisburg that was courting a few years after the Revolutionary War. Courting in the woods, as you know young people want to do. Stealing away all sneaky-like. Girl by the name of Ethel Beauchard snuck out of the parlor one evening just as soon as her mother went out to hang clothes on the line from the washing. She met up on the road by her farm with a boy by the name of Eugene Hutton. Now, the Hutton boy was an athletic chap, like boxing, fishing, and swinging Indian clubs. It's quite singular to the story that he didn't seem all that inclined to go to war in the preceding years leading up. Well, they walked in the woods for a while. Pretty soon they lost their bearings and no longer knew the north from the south, nor east from west neither. Then they heard a low moaning sound.
"What's that terrible noise?"
she said all a-trim. "Must be a sick calf looking for its mama. They've been known to bawl like that. Let me take a look," said Eugene. Well, old Eugene went and disappeared around a tree, came out the other side, and gave her a terrible fright. Boom! She let out a shriek, then went to chastising.
"You should be ashamed of yourself, Eugene Hutton," she said. "Instead of giving a girl protection, you go carry on acting foolish and fresh like the Queen's prize jester." But right then and there, a chilly wind blew through and knocked off Eugene's hat. "I need to get back home. My mama has a terrible temper. She's like to stomp up and down if she finds out we're missing." She is a fair, stout woman, Eugene noted. But just then, before this couple of miscreants could head home, they heard the sound of heavy wheels, groaning, and people marching. The cacophony grew closer and closer, and through the fog they could make out the shapes of ghost horses pulling spectral cannons, and dead soldiers marching as if their graves could no longer contain them, each wearing a vile red coat. "You will pay for your moral transgressions," the dead soldier howled, and cut his head clean off. Miss Beauchard shrieked in horror as Eugene's head landed right in her hands, his eyes still darting about, attempting to discern what horror had transpired. Little Miss Ethel Beauchard ran as fast as she could, stumbling and getting caught on trees as she tore through the forests. Terrified for her life, the dead soldiers marching after, hungry for blood. When she returned home, she told the people of the village that an army of the dead had taken Eugene within the confines of the fog. British soldiers who died protecting tyranny were rising from their graves as if to continue the fight for the demonic English. The townspeople erupted in fright and dismay until one doubter came forth and accused her of witchcraft. "She raised the dead to murder that boy for his pursuit of unwanted advances," he said. "So she too must perish." And that very night, they put her to the stake and burned her dead. Now let that be a lesson to you young ones not to go courting in the woods, in case the English lurk there still.
Perhaps the explanation this story gives is a little bit over the top. However, there's certainly some form of haunting going on in these woods, so maybe some of this story is true. And finally, secret number 10. I don't doubt many people are aware of the ghost lady of Bluewater Marsh. Ride around the bayou at night and you may hear ghostly voices in the distance.
Come back to me.
On some nights, the ghost lady of Bluewater Marsh may simply speak. However, on others, she will reveal her form to you. A spectral woman standing in the swamp, seemingly broken-hearted, lamenting over her lost lover.
I miss you so much.
Thankfully, due to some rather thorough detective work, this ghost lady has since been identified as Agnes Dowd. And it seems at just 19 she tragically took her own life and the lives of others in 1883. Anyway, there are many encounters you can have with the ghost lady at this particular spot in Red Dead Redemption 2 that reveals her story. Anyway, that brings us nicely to the end of today's video. Thank you all for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff, that would be awesome. Unless you don't want to for whatever reason, in which case I won't hold it against you. As far as outros go, I don't have anything else really to say, so hopefully with any luck I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video at some point, but until next time, please take care and goodbye.